I don't mind waiting. I'm a very small part of this program. It's Mrs. Prosuch and Mrs. Liberty. They do a fantastic job welcoming and bringing our 8th graders into the 9th grade. And this is an extremely exciting time because there's a lot more opportunities, there's a lot more options, and there's a lot more flexibility. So that bodes well for kids. And we're so excited to welcome this next class into the high school and give them every opportunity to learn and flourish and us work on the whole time. That's our main concern, is giving them a great academic piece, work on climate culture, and you know, just grow them as folks. So when they leave here, whatever they choose, entrepreneur, school, work, whatever they want to do, go to business themselves, that they have the skills and the knowledge to be successful. And it starts, you know, 9th grade. So that's some of the things that we'll continue to talk about as we move forward. But the bulk of the information, because you'll be working with our counselors all the time, is from Mrs. Prosuch and Mrs. Liberty. Mr. Bell is in the back, and he has done this presentation in the past. So meeting the building and asking those questions before they come over is also a great thing. But we're very, very excited. It's crazy to think that you guys are here to think about next year already. It's like we have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. But that's just kind of how we do it. So thank you for coming. I appreciate you guys being here, and enjoy the information you need. And if you need to get a hold of me for anything, please give me a call, shoot me an email, and I'll get back to you and talk about whatever you need.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. For those of you who don't know, I am Kara Prosuch. I am one of the counselors in the high school. And this is Mary Laverty. She is the other counselor. We will be working with all of your students. We will be going into their classrooms on Monday to social studies and going over the similar information. So if the students aren't here, we will get to see them in a smaller setting on Monday and go over it with them then. We will also be meeting with them individually to do their scheduling starting the 16th. So we have not sent that schedule out yet. We wanted to make sure we were still on track with our time. So we will get that out hopefully at the beginning of the week next week, but there will start scheduling on the 16th and we go alphabetically. So you can keep an eye out for that link. Forgive us for kind of sticking around this area here. We just want to make sure that our voice carries to the recording that we send out. So just wanted to say that too. Okay, so a few years ago, we decided as a district that we wanted to, I'm sure you guys are probably familiar with this. This is K-12. We brought together a group of stakeholders from from the community, from the school, the students, to kind of develop a vision of where we wanted to see the district move. And we're not going to go too far into detail with this because this has been communicated out to you guys so many times, but this is kind of where this is our core. This is the core of why we do what we do. When we are making decisions, when we are planning our programming, it always comes back to these goals and these standards. We really try to personalize, individualize for these students and meet them where they are and with what their needs are. So that's just there. Anything?
Yeah, and with that, for Mrs. Prosuch and myself, so like the counseling role is pretty much all encompassing. So we really look at all the social emotional needs of our students, the college and career, and the academic. And so we kind of fall under those big umbrellas. And so usually we kind of are the landing page for a lot of different things that goes on in the high school. So if you ever have questions,
we're like triage. You can start with us, and if we can't help, then we kind of point you where you need to go. One of the big things, we really got the ball rolling on our college and career pathway program, our professional speaker series, all of these things, the year before COVID, and we really grew this amazing, outstanding, beautiful career exploration program. And then COVID hit, and we had to, cancel visitors and cancel our trips. so we are just now starting to get the ball rolling again. And basically we start in 6th grade. Mr. Bell starts in 6th grade, and our goal is to kind of get the students excited about thinking about careers and what they might do, because, you know, we have learned as they get older, they don't know what they don't know when it comes to what jobs are out there. They know what their parents do, they know what their aunts and uncles do, but they might not know what else is out there. So it is our goal and it is our hope to get them excited about exploring those things in the years to come. And then by the time they get to the early years of high school, we start the exploration piece. So we have speakers come in. We've had speakers come in from NASA this year. We've had speakers come in from, we've had the fire chief.
We've had some parents come in and they've like talked about marketing, and we had someone, an architect come in and talk about like architecture and design. We had an ER doc come in and talk to the kids. So just really to get them to understand what different roles are in how like different, you know, you may have an ER doctor or someone that's in marketing, but how many different people they work with and all of the different types of careers there are, as well as their pathways and how they ended up, you know, in those places. So just a little, you know, put it out there. If anybody is interested in speaking with our students, we love to have, we have so many expertise, so much expertise in our parents that we welcome you guys in. So you could just reach out to us as well. But really our goal is so that the kids kind of broaden their horizons and they kind of just see what's out there. And then we end that, not end, but the culminating of all of these speakers and the thing, we like to get them out on field trips. We will try to start that again. When we had kids going to Lincoln Electric and Swagelock, we had them at Lubrizol. We have stairs. I don't think we had stairs.
We went to
Penn
the
Academy.
Penn Academy, the engineering program at Cleveland State. We had some really cool opportunities. We developed some really good partnerships with area companies who were thrilled with bringing our students in and showing them on the job opportunities and activities. So it was, and the kids really were engaged too. So we're excited to get that back into everything. So by the time they're in 11th and 12th grade, our goal is to really start engaging them in the exploration of what comes next. You know, for some students, that's going to be applying to college and figuring out what their major is going to be and plan that next stage of their life. For some students, it's going to be finding a vocational training program to develop those skills to go out in the workplace and be successful in jobs. And for some students, they go straight into a work job. We have some students, some seniors who are already transitioning into a career field, and it is wonderful to see. So by the time they're in 11th grade, we start specializing it more based on what their interests are. So the students in here, so when you guys are doing Thrively during home base and you're like, oh, Thrively again, this is what we're doing this for. We're doing this so you guys can start exploring what your interests are. What do you like? What are your strengths based on your personality? Do you like to work in front of a group, or do you like to kind of stay by yourself and work behind a computer, fix computers? Those are the things that we are trying to help you discover in Thrively. So by the time you get to your senior year of high school, you're not sitting there thinking, I don't know what I even like to do. What the heck am I supposed to do next? So we're really trying to connect all those pieces from 6th grade to senior year.
And you will be using those because we do have a graduation portfolio that the kids are going to be working towards and housing all of this information in, and it's in Thrively. And so part of that is what we have called, it's a week at the end of school, our junior professional skill building seminar. And one of the graduation requirements is the junior career internship. And in that week, we have people come in and do mock interviews with our students. We go over resume writing, we go over and throughout the year, we try to bring in some people that talk about some of those soft skills and like working together and different things that you need that are, you know, we don't get in the reading and writing and, you know, the normal academics in school as, you know, kind of pointed learning. And so we go over those types of things for a couple of days, and then they do the mock interviews. And then for 3 days in the end of the junior year, we actually send them out on job shadows. They could visit the same place. They could go to several different places, but it's really for us to get them out so that they can see a day in the life of. And then their senior year, that extends to a week-long experience where we have them go out in either a career experience internship, or they do have the option in their senior year to do a service experience. So we have some students that are looking at those opportunities now. So really, it's a 6 through 12 kind of graduated curriculum for our college and career. We do start them, if they are thinking about college, at their end of their junior year, starting, applying, writing all of the essays. And that is something that we will start talking to you guys as 9th graders to start strong, because you are applying to college at the beginning of your senior year, not the end. So you get 9th, 10th, 11th grade done. You are applying at the beginning of your senior year. So it's super important to start off strong. And so that's why we kind of front load all of this, so that everybody has, the information to get our students on the right path right away.
Anyone have questions about the career exploration program? I mentioned Thrively. That is the program that we use, again, for the students to do some self-exploration, link it to careers. And SCORE is the program that we use for college exploration. At the moment, we are starting in junior year for them, but this is a fairly new program for us. So each year we're trying to expand it to more students, but this is a great platform. It gives students the opportunity to check out colleges and find out what their acceptance rate is, what their ACT average is, what their GPA requirement is, and so we like, even though in 9th grade, you're like, I still have 4 years. What am I doing this for? For the students who do decide to go to college, it's good for them to see, okay, Ohio State really wants me to take 3 foreign languages. So I better make sure I'm planning that when I'm thinking about my schedule, things like that. So that's where it becomes important for students to start thinking early, not what they're going to do for the rest of their life, but what they should start thinking about, what skills they should start developing now in order to put them in a good place to be successful. And you guys as parents will also get access to SCORE, so you can see what your students are exploring, and you can also maybe throw some suggestions to them, like, hey,
suggestions.
I went to Miami, check out Miami, see what that's all about. And so
I threw some suggestions that my kids really know about. No. So with that, in supporting our goal really as the counselors is to help your students. And we always say, they are not going to come into high school and leave as the same person. We don't want them to. We want them to grow. And high school is a little bit messy because you're like middle school, you're figuring out who you are, and your friends change and things kind of change. And all throughout that, we're going to support you and try to help you develop some really healthy skills. And one of those things that we have found is so important and so helpful in terms of students becoming connected is their involvement. So being involved in activities does not have to be sports. We have so many different activities that students can be involved in, is important to their mental health, their feeling connected to school as a community, as well as opportunities for service and for, looking at being a well-rounded student, because they will be asked about other things that they do, and being well-rounded is very important in terms of not only college application, but other work applications that we've seen. And scholarships, they want to know what other things kids have been involved in. And so we have so many different activities for them. Math Club actually just met yesterday, Student Council. We have United Way kind of works with Student Council for fundraising. Yearbook is actually a class that students get involved in, and they do an amazing job with that. We have Drama Club, which actually is also going to be offered in a class that students are able to take if they're interested in theater arts. We do a foreign language club. They just had a crafting day the other day where students made a craft for, I think it was for Valentine's. Book club. In book club, students and a couple of the teachers, read a book and kind of share out and have some snacks. We had students one time, so here's, they were interested in hiking and canoeing, and they said, hey, Mrs. Prosuch, Mrs. Laverty, can we start a hiking club? Sure, you just need, an advisor. And so literally they would decide where they were going hiking or canoeing, and they would meet up and go and do that. And so we have a lot of student initiated clubs. And so gaming club, the kids have like board games where they will meet and play board games. So there are plenty of opportunities to get involved. So please encourage your students to do that.
This is totally a side note, but I was on the phone one day, a couple months ago with a customer service representative trying to take care of something. And she was chatting me up, and somehow she figured out what I did for a living. She's like, I need to ask you a question. I have a 10th grader and he wants to go to college, and what the heck am I supposed to do with him? She's like, just give me one piece of advice. And I said, if I could give you any piece of advice, it's to get them involved. Not only in the athletics and clubs and things like that, but also service. We have Student Council, Key Club, National Honor Society, United Way. We have so many clubs that focus on service. And we always use the term servant leader. We want the students to learn what service, not just going to get community service hours because it's a requirement to graduate, but what being a servant leader, what providing services to others can do to make us a better person and to make the community a better around us. So we really, really stress service to our students along the way.
The other one up there
I'm sorry.
is National Honor Society. So National Honor Society is not a club that could be joined. Students are, they have to qualify, and by the end, so it's the beginning of junior year, they will receive a letter that they are able to apply to the National Honor Society. And so the 3.75, the grade point average is a 3.75 that is required. And then students apply, they get letters of reference. They do need 40 hours of community service. So their application has to be submitted with 40 hours documented of community service. So for graduation, you will see in a second, we only require 16 total, which is very minimal. But for National Honor Society, they require 40. And then the students are, their leadership, they do need to have some leadership roles when they are applying for National Honor Society, like different character and obviously their service. So those are, I just wanted to highlight that because that is one that people often ask about, and it's the one that students can't just join, it's by application. Oh, we also have peer leaders. Peer leaders are the same, and it's similar in the middle school, but the peer leaders are, they're nominated by teachers, and they go through an interview process, and they take 9th grade groups. So all of your 9th grade students will have a peer leader, 2 peer leaders actually, and the peer leaders kind of follow them and do some activities with them throughout the year. We actually have our peer leaders in their 9th grade groups working on service projects right now. There's one group raising money for a Leukemia Lymphoma Foundation. The other is doing a book drive for the Cleveland kids book drive. We have another group doing, they're making blankets for, it's called Homeless Hookup in Cleveland, and they are going to, give the blankets to that foundation. So the peer leaders are what the name says, and they are juniors and seniors. So same kind of thing. And then there's athletics.
Yes. So we are very lucky in our small school to still be able to have a large number of athletic opportunities for our students in all 3 sports seasons. We won't go into too much detail. Mr. Paul is the athletic director. And if you have a sport specific question, I'm sure he would be more than happy to help you and answer any of your questions.
I will say this though, there is a pass that students will be able to purchase. It's a student pass to all of the games. And I don't know how much it will be. I think it was like maybe $40 this year. I don't know. Anyways, they are able as a high school student to have a pass that will get them into any game, like anything, volleyball, basketball, swimming, football. And so just kind of keep your ears open for that, because I know like this year was our first year doing it and not a lot of students, I think, took advantage of that, but it's a pretty good deal. Same thing, there's a family one too. So again, I don't know logistics of it, but just keep your ears open for that, because it's a good deal.
Okay. So we actually just, not we, Mrs. Laverty.
No, we tag team each other. So if you ever want to know a counselor to go to, we kind of,
Yeah.
this is us.
Whoever you get to first.
Yeah.
So we actually just created a new website for the counseling department. We totally revamped what was already there, and it's still a work in progress, but we've gotten a good start on a very user-friendly informational website. And so instead of just boring you with the slides of all of this information, we're going to take you to the website so you can see where you can go at any time to find this information. Okay, hopefully. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, this is our counselor's corner, and you may click on some of these buttons and it may take you to a blank page right now. That's because we have to finish uploading the pages. But our high school grade, so we want you to have all the information that you need to know. Again, we will put this slideshow on this page as well under like 8 to 9 transition, but the high school graduation requirements are up here. So
the state of Ohio released new graduation requirements that start with the class of 2023. So the current juniors will be the first class to graduate under these new requirements. We are hopeful that these remain the same for your students. You never know with the state of Ohio, with the Department of Education, they might make some tweaks here and there, but as of right now, these will continue to be the requirements to graduate for students in the state of Ohio. And it is important to point out that the state of Ohio has their own minimum requirements, and Kirtland does have some extra requirements attached to those. We will make sure that we point those out, okay? So all students must take 4 units. Units is just another word for credits, basically 4 credits of math.
Quarter, a year, a half. Okay, so that's where it gets a little confusing. So when we are talking about a Kirtland class, it's a year, typical a year. There we have a couple of classes that are a half of a unit, and that would be like their health class that they will take in financial literacy that they will take. So that would be a semester, so 1/2 of the year. But a unit in Kirtland classes is like a year.
So 4 units of mathematics means every single year of high school you have to take math.
In theory,
yes.
yeah. You need 4 math classes.
Our
Yeah.
year runs the same as middle school. So the only thing different is that we don't have the quarter rotation classes. So we only have the full year, like the English and math that they have now, or the semester long classes that like computer or art. We have some art classes that are only semester, but that is the only way that we are very similar schedule wise to the middle school. Okay. So again, 4 years of math, 4 years of English, only 3 credits of social studies, 3 credits of science. All students are required a half a credit of health, which they take in 9th grade. All 9th graders take health. The students need a half a unit of physical education, which I'm going to come back to in a minute. Brand new lucky you guys and the students in here, brand new to the rising 9th graders, the state is requiring a half a credit of financial literacy, which we're actually thrilled about. We're very excited to be able to give the students that useful everyday knowledge of balancing checkbooks and financing and budgets and things like that. So those students all students will be required to have that class. And in addition to that, they need 6.5 additional electives. So those come in the form of foreign language, art, computer, band, choir. Those are the electives that will make up the remaining credits.
Or like an extra math class. So
Or an
we have
extra.
lots of students double up in science, they'll double up in math. And so those, if you are past your 4 units of math and you take a 5th math course, which many of our students do, then that would turn into an elective credit.
So a lot of times, and I know that Mr. Bell has this conversation with the students, for students who are taking Algebra 1 in 8th grade, that is their first high school math course. It is not the intention to take that algebra course in 8th grade so they don't have to take math senior year. That is not the intention of allowing them to start early. Some definitely try to do that, but the intention is to give them the opportunity to take some of those higher level math classes by the time they're a senior. So many of our students end up with 5 or sometimes even 6 math credits before they graduate. Okay. But those end up being electives. Anything past 4 goes into the electives.
And we're going to go into some
Yeah.
of those options
Yeah.
so that you guys can just see them.
Going back to physical education, all students in the district who participate in 2 seasons of a school-sponsored sport, and that includes band, marching band, can waive PE. Okay, so it can be any 2 seasons, and it can be at any point in their high school career. So if a student is in band and they do band in 9th grade and 10th grade, gym can be waived. If in 9th grade, a student plays football in the fall and wrestling in the winter, two sports done, we can waive gym, okay? For students who do not play in a school-sponsored sport or march in the marching band, we have other opportunities for students to earn the gym credit. We have a wellness course. We have some other flexible options that we would talk with you guys and the students about. But we do, again, encourage the students to get involved if that is something they're interested in.
And it doesn't have to be in the same year either. So a student could play tennis sophomore year and run track junior year. And that's we'd like to have it done before, by 2nd semester of junior year. So yeah, we encourage them to get it done early.
In addition to the credits, we also require that all students complete 16 hours of community service. That is not per year, that is total. So an average of 4 per year. And we tell the students that can be done easily. We were encouraging our high schoolers during the snowstorm, go shovel a neighbor's driveway, go help, if you have an elderly neighbor, go check on them, spend some time with them, help them. Anything that you are providing a service, we did say, don't shovel your own driveway and try and get that as community service.
Our family.
or grandma and grandpa's, because you should be shoveling grandma and grandpa's driveway anyway. But if it is somebody who is in need and you're providing that service, we will accept it. We have forms that will be linked to this website. They're also available in paper copy in our office at any time. And students can use can really use their interests to go and get those community services hours down.
We have a lot of students. So just no, your 8th grader can start day after 8th grade graduation. So summer before 9th grade, we have a lot of students get it done because they work vacation Bible school at their church, so anything like that. And then they have their hours done. But remember, if you think about the NHS, and actually we're going to talk about another opportunity for students to earn something towards graduation if they do above and beyond community service hours. We'll get to that in a second. But, just because they have the 16 hours, we don't want them to stop. But they can use things that they do in the summer, even before they enter high school, to be community service. And if, I know that like some kids work Safety Town, they had their own documentation form, and that's fine. As long we need a signature from the sponsor, not a parent. It has to be from a sponsor that it legitimizes their community service and their hours.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Does the community service have to be done in group?
No.
Good question. Just in case, the question was, does the community service have to be done in Kirtland? No. The community service can be done anywhere if you go on a mission trip and you are, that will be a great opportunity for service. I'm sorry, any other?
How's that tracked?
So the forms get turned into us in the counseling department, and we have a running list. And as it doesn't happen daily, but in batches, we go in and we will update the students' course progress report, which we'll show you about in a minute where to find that, so you can monitor that it was a completed requirement. Okay, we'll talk more about that in a minute.
Yeah,
It's on the website, and it's available in our office if they want to stop it.
but sometimes like students, if they've gone on a mission trip, we'll get it like a letter from church. That would be like on the letterhead, and like so-and-so completed, was on the mission trip for like 30 hours, and like we accept that because it's a.
Yeah,
you know,
oh yeah, absolutely.
So it doesn't have to necessarily, we provide that because it's easy, but.
The last requirement for graduation is a junior internship. So similar to what Mrs. Laverty described about the seniors, what they do senior year, they will do a junior career shadow experience during their junior year. So they will do some activities on the first 2 days of the week, and then they will go out and explore a career of interest. So we do give the students the opportunity to go to more than one location if they have multiple careers that they're interested in. So we have some students stay in one place. So early in the spring semester in January, right when we come back, we bring the juniors together, we give them the information, and we send them to basically to start making contact with people who might be willing to host them as an intern. Any student who needs help, obviously we will help them, but a lot of families have connections and know kind of where to start. So, and we do encourage the kids to make the phone calls for themselves because that really is a good practice for them. Any questions about any of the graduation requirements?
Yes. Yes, that's a good question. So what is required are world studies, and then US history and government. So those are required courses for social studies. A lot of students opt to take like psychology or like sociology as a fourth social studies, but we do have those Ohio requirements of government, US history, and world studies. Then for science, it is biology and a physical science, and then any advanced science course, which we'll show you what some of those are. But yes, the students will be required to take a physical science course, which there are several that we have, as well as biology, life science.
In the email that I sent out with the information to this meeting, I'm pretty sure I linked the program of studies, correct? Okay, so in the program of studies, you'll be able to find all of that laid out right there for you, what the specific requirements are.
I don't want to go back, but the program of studies is linked on our
Yeah.
website too, on the counseling site as well.
Yeah.
Okay, the second part of graduation. So state of Ohio, 3 things. Step 1, all your credits and everything that we require for graduation. Step 2 is showing competency. So the competency met is students pass their Algebra 1 end of course exam. So some of your students might be taking Algebra 1 as an 8th grader. Maybe some took it as a 7th grader. They have to pass the Algebra 1 end of course exam. That's one. The second state test that they have to pass is their English 2, which is the end of 10th grade end of course exam. So that is then meeting competency. There is a competency number that the state has set out for, that means that they have met the requirements. There are several other ways that we are able to get a student to meet competency if they do not pass those. But we don't want to have to go into all that with you, but there are, if you're like sitting there like, oh, my student has a very difficult time with those, there are some safeguards in that.
And those are all spelled out on the website. You can, by all means,
Alright,
look through those. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. The final step, step 3, the state says the students need to show readiness. And to show readiness, the students need to earn 2 seals. Students can earn seals for their diploma. The state gives 12 opportunities, 12 different avenues to earn seals. And again, the students only need 2 of them. So we laid out all 12 of them. And again, we're not gonna go through all of them with you. You guys have way better things to do with your time, but please take the time to look through what they are. So there are 3 local seals: the fine and performing arts, the community service, and the student engagement seals. Those were defined locally. That means we decided as a district what we thought would be appropriate for students to do, to accomplish in order to earn a seal for these categories. So for example, the student engagement seal, if a student is involved in 6 school-sponsored activities during their 4 years of high school, only 4 of them can be sports. So 2 of them must be a club of some sort, student council, key club, something like that. Then a student would earn the seal, the student engagement seal. There are some linked to the biology end of course exam, the science, the state seal, the science state seal. So there are so many avenues. There's a job readiness seal. So for a lot of students who might not be the best test takers, they might not, our students who go to Auburn are really, they earn the job readiness seal because they are learning those career job ready skills on the job, on the site, when in their program. So there are so many avenues for the students to earn seals. Again, they only need 2. We are confident that our students are gonna be very successful in earning these seals.
Yeah,
for
we
their
just sat
diploma.
with our juniors, and these are new graduation requirements that our juniors are, they're the first class going through. A lot of them already met these because there's only 2 graduation seals, and they're like, oh, you're like, yeah, you're gonna get them if just by being involved in doing what you need to do. So we're confident that your students are able to earn these.
Yep. So those are the 3 tiers of the graduation requirements for the state of Ohio for this class. It's a lot. It's overwhelming. It's hard to keep track of. That's what we're here for. That's what this website is here for. And again, in a couple slides, we're going to show you how together we will monitor our progress throughout the years for those graduation requirements.
Last thing we want to show you is the honors diploma. So a lot of students ask about the honors diploma, and we do have a slide on the honors diploma. Did I take it? No, I don't know. I don't know if we took it out or not. But anyways, so oftentimes, well, maybe we did take it out. Sorry. So oftentimes, the one thing that students are asking about is earning the honors diploma. So you guys, we were talking about seals. Literally, we are putting a seal, like a sticker, on the diploma. So a student can earn all 12 seals and they will have 12 literal seals on their diploma. So when we tell that to the kids, they're like, oh, okay. But that's how we have to show readiness. One of the ways is earning an honors diploma. There are several honors diplomas, but the one that kids are most interested in is the academic honors diploma. Students have to earn 7 out of 8 of the requirements. I will give you a couple of the big ones. We already require 4 years of English, 4 years of math. Honors diploma also requires 4 years of science and 4 years of social studies. Our students typically will take 4 years anyways. The honors diploma requires 3 years of a foreign language. If they started Spanish in 8th grade, that's 1 year. So they just have Spanish 2 and Spanish 3, 9th and 10th grade, and then they've met that requirement. If a student decides to change, then they could have 2 years of one language and 2 years of another language. That will fulfill the requirement as well for the foreign language piece. We are often asked the question, do I need foreign language to graduate? No, foreign language is not a requirement per se to graduate from Kirtland High School. Students do need electives, but they may want to get electives in the fine arts and in computer and tech. They may not want a foreign language. However, we will talk about college. Many colleges look for students to have at least a couple of years of foreign language. So there's kind of where, we do encourage them to take the foreign language if they are a college-bound student. So honors diploma is the extra year of social studies, extra year of science, 3 years of the foreign language. a fine art class, which could be art band, choir, one of those. And then they need to hit a couple of markers. One is a 3.5 grade point average, but that is an unweighted grade point average. And what that means is we take out all the weighting for honors courses, advanced placement courses, and college credit plus CCP courses. And this is really the only time, and it's for the state of Ohio, that their unweighted GPA is used. So that's just a key to think about. The other marker that students need to hit is a 27 on the ACT or 1280 on the SAT. So a student can earn 7 out of those 8 to get the honors diploma. And so we give them, or the state of Ohio gives them 1 that they could, kind of not hit that mark for. And so oftentimes as an entering freshman, most students haven't taken the ACT yet. And they're like, oh, I'm not sure I'm gonna hit that 27. So I'm gonna do everything else I can do so that in case they don't hit that, I'm already set up for it. So I know that's a lot of information.
It's
and
linked.
It's all right there.
I linked, I just brought you guys from the webpage. Here, I linked you to, I brought you to the link to the academic honors diploma. It goes into great detail about what counts for each category in the honors diploma. So again, it is there for you at any time to explore. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. We won't go through these, but this actually addresses your question over there about what are the courses, what are the requirements, what are the courses that the students take. We did list our courses that the students take, the options that they have, like in math, for example. These top ones are the ones that all the students have to take: Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2. We do have in many of our subject areas multiple levels of students, of classes, so we can meet the student where they are. All students have strengths, and we can support the students' needs and strengths as needed in those classes.
Where you see AP, many of you have older students, but for those of you that are unfamiliar, AP means advanced placement course. So advanced placement courses are, the curriculum comes from the College Board. The College Board is, they're the institution that it creates the SAT as well, and they create all of the AP curriculum. And so the AP curriculum is the same internationally. So when a student is taking AP language arts, all students in AP language arts in the country are learning the same curriculum internationally. And so at the end of that course, students are able to take the AP exam, which if they pass it, could earn them college credits. And so we have many students that go into college with many college credits. That's just one of the ways that students are able to earn it. The other thing about AP is that colleges know what the curriculum is being taught because it is a standardized curriculum. And all of AP is being taught that same way. So colleges know if a student comes in with an AP course, they know what they've learned because it's, they go through a process of making sure that their teachers teaching it are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And so that's the AP.
Yeah.
Any questions about that?
So these slides, again, these will go through all the classes that the students have to take and have the opportunity to take along with the different levels of classes. Okay, so we mentioned before how you can see your recommendations and how you can view your progress towards those graduation requirements. This is a screenshot of a student. This is an 11th grade student, so it's going to look a little different than what your student's going to currently see, but it does give you the same idea. So if you guys log in as a parent or as a student in Infinite Campus, there is a little on the left-hand side, there's a little section that says academic plan. If you click on that, it's going to bring you to this screen. All you need to do on this screen is hit next. None of this is anything we have to worry about at this time. So we just need to bypass right through it, and it will bring you to a screen that looks like this. Again, this is an 11th grader, so you're going to see a little bit more on her screen than what you would see on your students at this point. Your student will only have courses on the left-hand side under the grade 9. So the courses that are going to be listed, but they will look like the ones over here on the right-hand side. They will have locks on them. The locks mean that those are the recommendations that the current teachers placed for your student based on what they thought would be the best fit for them going into 9th grade. So you guys at any time can go in and look at those in preparation for scheduling with us in a couple weeks. Okay.
We get the question, what if we don't agree with the teacher's placement of our student, and what if we don't agree with what the course that they recommended my student for? So that's a conversation that we put on the parent, and having a conversation with the teacher and your child, and we have the student actually go to the teacher and get some feedback from the teacher. So we will send home a waiver form that will have the teacher, the current teacher's signature on it, and the parent signature that says, okay, I understand that my student wasn't necessarily recommended to take this course, but I still would like for them to, go into this course, and we get your signature, and then we will add that to their course requests.
I don't have screenshots. I will add them before I send this out of how to access the progress report, but it is on the same screen. A couple links down, there is something that says documents. If you go to documents, you guys might be familiar with this already because that's where you can see the report cards each quarter. It's in that same section. At the bottom, you will start being able to see something called academic plan progress report. If you click on that, you will be able to see it's nice and pretty. It's green and red. So you'll see as the requirements are met, it turns green. So it's a really nice visual, a way for everyone, for us and for you guys to keep track of those graduation requirements. You can also monitor progress towards the academic honors diploma as well. So I will add screenshots to that before I send this out to you guys tomorrow. But it is, if you know where to find report cards, you will be able to find the progress report for graduation.
And that's what we sit with the students every year and go over with them individually. So we are monitoring that continually, and we meet with the students to kind of go through that as well.
All right, a typical freshman schedule, it looks, timing wise, we are on the same bell schedule as middle school. Home base, delayed start Thursdays, everything from that perspective is exactly the same. So this is just an example of what a schedule could look like. Health and financial literacy, those two classes, all 9th graders are going to have those. Health is actually an online class. Students take that class in an online platform. It is monitored by us, but the students are expected to work through that independently. We do not bother them as long as they are working and progressing through the course. So for those students who use their time wisely, they could end up using that time of the day as an extra study hall if they need it, or to study for a test, work with a tutor. But if a student is not doing the health and not keeping up with it like they should be, we will pull those students aside and make them dedicate that period specifically to catching up on health.
And sometimes with us.
And sometimes with us. Yep.
The other thing with the health curriculum is that we try to bring in as many speakers for them as much as we can. And so we will have people that will come in from, the fire department will come in and do CPR with the students. We have a healthy relationships person come in. We have, what else do we have? We have, life hacks come in. We have a few speakers that come in, and your students will actually be seeing NAMI on just like mental health awareness and our suicide intervention and prevention. You will get updates on when those things are happening so that you're in the loop as well. Okay, but we do bring in speakers for the students.
This screen, and again, this is the same presentation we're going to go over with your students. So this is a lot mostly geared towards them, and we pretty much went over all of this. So this is just another refresher of the things that we suggest for students who do plan to progress into move on to college after graduation. But we really touched on all of these points throughout the presentation. As you move into the high school, this is how you can keep track of us. We have Mary and I have our own Twitter, Mr. Amstutz. I'm sure you might follow Mr. Van Arnhem. We do try and share some fun things that we're doing through our Twitter account to stay connected. And this is for the students. We don't need to worry about that. Any questions for us?
Hi, Jason. What's up? That's a good question. You can. So we can plan for you to have 6 classes. And then one of those would be your study hall. We call it study hall in the high school, but your advisory. Yes.
Mhm.
So
Most
Our-
students end up with a study hall in 9th grade because health is in there, but it is that online flexible period that is a built-in time for students to get some extra work done as well.
Right.
So yeah.
we require you to take 6 classes though. Right. And the health and the financial literacy is one of those.
Mhm.
So you also have home base, just like you do
Yeah.
at the middle school.
Is the financial literacy like the second half?
It'll be
Whichever
crisscross.
one,
Yeah.
It'll
So
be the
some,
same period.
yeah,
But
some
that's
students,
in person, like with a.
yes. Yep. So some might have health first and financial lit second, and some might have it vice versa. It's just a scheduling thing.
Thank you. First of all, thank you. This is great information. Great to see the big picture over the 4 years, what's required. But I'm just trying to break it down to like, okay, 9th grade course selection. Like,
Yeah.
So what I'm not clear on is, I see like a guide that's sent out, sort of. I probably heard you say that there might be kind of a pre-populated or suggested course selection for our students.
In the
Like,
core courses,
how is
yes.
this- Yeah, how is this going to come to us or?
That's a
the
great,
students to,
yeah.
help us understand that?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So being able to log into Infinite Campus and view the recommendations, those are only from the core courses. So English, math, science, and social studies. And that's really because we do not know your students yet. We do not know their strengths. We do not know their areas of need. So we need to depend on their current teachers to let us know what they think is the best route for the student. And that's not a closed door. That's a conversation that can be had. But unfortunately, I don't know if that's the right word, but 9th graders don't have a ton of options because they have to have that health and financial literacy and some other things to
They
go
all
on. So
take world studies.
yeah,
They'll all be in an English class. They will all be in one of the science classes and one of the math classes.
Yeah.
So depending on what science class, what math class, what English class the teacher, their current teacher recommended them for is what you'll see on this screen. And that's what is locked.
And most subject areas go, there's a track. So if you're in Algebra 1 this year, you're going to be in geometry next year. That's just what comes next. And all 9th graders will take world history. There's no choice there. So especially in 9th grade, for better or for worse, the choices are a bit more limited than they will be for the students once they get into 11th and 12th grade.
And then, sorry, that's great. One follow-up then, and maybe there's not a specific date yet, but it sounds like tentatively the scheduling would begin on the 16th, but when does it end? Or we have to have it
So
finalized. I guess.
your students are the last ones for us to see. So once we finish getting the requests in, we will be able to sit down and start building the master schedule. And hopefully, I hate to ever give a date.
We always think we're ahead of the game and then it just doesn't work like that.
But we are hopeful to be able to get the actual schedules out to the students before the end of the year for sure. Hopefully, much prior to that, so we can work with you guys on making any adjustments.
Yeah. So like the master schedule is built by taking all the kids like courses that they tell us they want to take, and then we try to get as many kids all the courses that they want. There's tweaking to do. So then if your student says, oh, I want to switch to this, then we just kind of have to try to make sure that we can put that. In the 9th grade, usually we have.
Great question.
Any other questions?
I read in the email about the meeting that the meeting is divided alphabetically who gets the stuff. Does it stay the same or do you roll for the rest of high school?
Good question. Yeah, we give ourselves, even with the scheduling, we did say, A through L with Mary, M through Z with me, but we kind of just took them as they came. It is so important for us, for students to be comfortable in our office, no matter what. Our door is always open and we want them to feel comfortable, whether I'm there and she's not, or vice versa. So we are not going to, I will not turn a kid away if their last name starts with the letter C, and vice versa. So
And then we had snow days, so we were just like, hey, anybody that needs a schedule, come. And so we had a line, and we just, we just take kids as they come.
that is, it's mostly for logistical purposes and things like that, but we adore all of our students equally and we want to make sure that they feel comfortable with both of us.
So now emailing us, so if there is, just for us to manage and keep track, because sometimes we'll have parents that will email me and then they'll email Mrs. Prosuch and then we're like doing the same job. And so emailing purposes, if you like kind of stick with A through L for me and M through Z for Mrs. Prosuch, it just makes our management a little bit easier.
Unless you have an
and-
established relationship
yes.
with one of us and then
That's the caveat. Like if your student would prefer to see Kara because they know me too well, which, it was legitimate, then, because I've seen a lot of the kids grow up just because I have students here. And that will be you sooner than later. But then, just let us both know that. So that, and there's definitely, like, we are not, nothing.
we love them all
Yes,
equally.
we do.
Thank you very much. Speaking as the mom of a senior, that everything they're saying is absolutely true and they're fantastic.
Well, she's a good one.
She's
so.
we love her. We love her.
She's a great one.
I miss her.
Yeah, we don't want her to go. Did you have a question?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
oh, you-
read into the health class like December the 4th and 19th year.
That is a great question. So yes, it is an option for some students. We only have a limited number of seats in the health program. So for students who, and the number varies every year depending on the breakdown, we go by GPA. So for students who have above a certain GPA throughout the first 3 quarters of the year, we do offer that opportunity for those students to take health before they start 9th grade. We don't know what that number is going to be yet. And that information will be sent out to the students who do qualify. So if you don't receive information by the time summer rolls around and you're curious, email us. We can talk to you.
Is it just going to the students or the students?
Oh, no, it will go to the
It'll go to the
parents.
parents, yeah.
It'll go to the parents.
We typically
absolutely.
send everything to both.
What else? Anything else?
Any other questions?
Well, thank you. We appreciate your,
We know that we just spewed a lot of information at you, but we will have it on the website and we will be meeting with your students. So we just wanted to kind of front load you when they come home with all this. Yeah, so you have a little bit of a heads up. Okay? Thank you guys. Have a good night.